Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another one of my videos. I'm going to just kind of roll with it today. I did actually film a video, a walking and talking video. I know I'm not outside right now like I normally am for these videos, but I just wanted to do this discussion video. I felt it was important and it was something I wanted to do. And unfortunately, even though I filmed the video, it got messed up. There was a lot of wind that day and I got a ton of wind noise because I just kind of do those on my phone like right now. And I also was not paying attention and I realized when I had my camera it was all the way up here. So you really don't want to see that the whole time. So I'm refilming it and I apologize if I look to the side like this because I was filming my other video with the other camera. That way I wasn't looking at the screen at all. I was looking directly at the camera, so like I had my phone flipped around is what I mean. And well, that's what I got. I got up here and it wasn't good. So redoing this video, and I'm going to try to focus on the lens even though I have the camera right here, but I don't want to do this again. Anyway, so if you're new to this channel, my name's Casey and I have a service dog. Her name's Elsa. You'll see her in several other of my videos. She's not in this one because we aren't out walking like we normally are. And this is basically a largely unedited style of video, my walking and talkings, where we just kind of like have a discussion topic and I share with you my views and you can participate in the discussion in the comments down below. And I do want to hear your guys' opinions and experiences with these topics. That's what they're for, so we can learn from each other. But again, don't be slamming people or anything like that. Sorry for the hat today, but my hair was not behaving. But like I said, I wanted to film this video for you guys, so I'm just gonna wear a hat. So anyway, let's get into it. Today we're basically going to be talking about muzzles and why they are important, or muzzle training really in general. Now I know a lot of you are going, wait a minute, muzzles, why does a service dog need a muzzle, right? Most people, when they think of muzzles, they think of aggressive dogs or dogs that have a bite history or could bite or something like that. Well, there are other uses for muzzles, and I do believe it is important to have your dog muzzle trained, although to be completely honest, I have not muzzle trained any of my dogs. Now Elsa is going to be muzzle trained, and I'm kind of in the process of doing that right now. It's something I've kind of had on my to-do list for a very long time, and I'm finally going to go ahead and do it. And I'm going to kind of go into my reasonings of why I'm muzzle training my service dog. We can talk about muzzles for a very long time, their uses in training, fit, style, everything like that. We can talk like 4 hours probably about just that. But I'm going to try to keep it pretty simple for this video and really focus on why a service dog should be muzzle trained. So, Elsa being a service dog, why should I muzzle train her? Well, there's a couple instances that your service dog could be muzzled. And when any dog is muzzled, it's going to create stress because they don't know what's on their face. It's basically like tying their hands up because dogs use their mouths more as their hands like we do. Yeah, it can be extremely stressful to just muzzle a dog. And there are some circumstances that can happen where your dog's going to be muzzled. Depending on your circumstances, your type of dog, what you do with your dog, that chance could be higher or lower. For service dogs, I definitely think it's probably lower than most dogs, but I still think it's important. When a dog is muzzle trained, they're basically trained to be okay with the muzzle, not worry about it. You put it on, they don't act differently, they don't care about it, they're not freaking out or anything like that. That's basically what muzzle training is. Now, for service dogs, for the most part, I mean, I don't think it's going to be really hard for me to muzzle train Elsa, because with service dogs, they're generally gear desensitized, if I can call it that. Basically, you generally desensitize your service dog to a lot of different types of gear. A lot of times they will wear boots, or maybe a halty, different kinds of training gears, different kinds of collars, different kind of harnesses, coats, all sorts of stuff like that. So service dogs are gonna be more gear desensitized than most dogs, so they might not even mind. But just adding that, I guess you could say, arrow to your arsenal or arrow to your quiver of have your dog specifically muzzle trained, it's just gonna make them more okay with having stuff done to them, because that's one thing with service dogs is you want to bulletproof them basically, or bomb-proof them. And part of doing that is working with different kinds of gear. Have stuff on them, have stuff touching them, touching their tail, people holding tails, ears, mouths, whatever, and them being okay with it. Because when a child runs up out of the blue and grabs our dog's tail, we don't want them to turn around and bite the child. We want them to be like, oh, okay, someone's touching my tail. Oh, well. So a lot of dogs can be picky on that. So you can look at muzzle training a service dog as just part of that desensitization of your dog, them being okay with different things. And the more stuff you desensitize your dog to, the more likely when something new happens, they're going to be okay with it. So just having that one more easy, quick thing of making sure your dog knows how to wear a muzzle is going to help desensitize them and help them become a more stable dog around new stuff, because you've done so much stuff with them. Sorry if I'm shaking the camera too much. But so that's one thing for desensitization. Sorry, I'm getting a little tongue-tied, especially with those big words. That's one reason. Your two main things that you're gonna have for a muzzle be used on a quote-unquote maybe not aggressive dog is going to be trips to the groomer or trips to the vet. Just because, sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to hold this because I lost my pop socket. Alright, let's try that. So let's go with trips to the groomer. A lot of times when you drop your dog off at the groomer, and not all people do this, I will admit I don't do this. I think Elsa's been to the groomer twice, mainly to expose her to someone else grooming her. So I literally just had her go for the experience. And there has been times where, I think there was the one other time I paid for her to go for the experience once, and then there was one other time where she really needed a bath and I didn't really have time to give it to her. I can't remember what the circumstance was, but I went ahead and dropped her off at the groomer. So that might happen. Some of you service dog handlers might take your dog to the groomer all the time. Just depends on your level of mobility or your dog breed. So, you know, it's totally, you're going to be individual circumstances with dog groomers. But a lot of times a groomer is not going to call you up and, you know, say, hey, can I muzzle your dog? You know, if they feel unsafe at all, or maybe they're doing something a little bit more invasive, I guess you could say. If the dog seems nervous, some groomers will muzzle your dog before they trim your dog's nails. Or like with poodles, they have to pluck their ear. So sometimes, you know, it could be just the dog seems nervous. So for the safety of the groomer, the groomer's going to muzzle him for like 2 minutes, probably tops. Just put it on, do it safely, basically, and take it off. They're not going to leave it on for a long time. But really, if you drop your dog off the groomer, you really don't have any control over that if they're going to use a muzzle or they're not. Now, hopefully, and our goal always is to have a super well-behaved dog, even with other people, and be super desensitized to grooming. Like I was talking earlier about bomb-proofing, stuff like that, that shouldn't be a problem with service dogs. But, you know, all dogs are not perfect, so, you know, maybe they get a little nervous, and maybe not nervous to the point to bite at all, but maybe nervous enough where the groomer feels like everyone would be safer if your dog wears a muzzle for a split second. So if your dog is muzzle trained, it's not going to stress them out anymore. Even if you train it in a certain way where it's actually calming for the dog, it could actually help calm your dog down if it's maybe a new groomer after you've moved or something like that, where maybe they were perfectly fine with the first one, but now it's a new groomer, so maybe they're a little nervous because they don't know this person. So that's one circumstance. Of course, we don't want a groomer to feel they need to muzzle our service dog, especially, but it could happen. So, and something you're going to have control over, because when you turn the dog over, it's up to the groomer to act safely and professionally. And sometimes that means muzzling your dog for a few minutes. The other thing is for vets. Now, again, when you take your service dog to a vet, they should be totally desensitized to the vet. They shouldn't have to be muzzled for a normal checkup. Now, dogs are still dogs, and when they get freaked out, for example, a really bad injury, if your dog got hit by a car or something like that, hopefully that never happens, but service dogs are out in the public a lot more than normal pets, and they are around traffic, and that could happen. They could also, another thing, escalators. I've heard of service dogs getting their toes and or their little claws degloved, I believe it's what it's called, on escalators, which is one reason why most people say do not take your dog on escalators. I don't do it unless my dog has boots on for that reason. Their toes can get caught. So just, you know, some freak accidents like that can happen, and that could put your dog under a lot of stress. Now, obviously, with lots of bomb-proofing to your service dog, they should actually be very calm and be okay with you tending to their injuries. But they are dogs in the end, and if it is a really bad injury, you really can't blame them for maybe snapping, because they're just saying, hey, that hurts. So to keep everyone safe, your vet may want to muzzle your dog as soon as you get there, or if you have a muzzle in your dog first aid kit, which I would recommend, and I am, again, that is something that I need to do. It's been on my list for a very long time, and I'm finally getting around to doing it. I do a lot of hiking and camping with my dog, so that's another scenario where she can get injured. There's a higher probability, and I'm not going to not do those activities with my dog, because one, she's a border collie and she would go crazy otherwise, and she absolutely loves hiking and running around in the woods and everything like that. But you have to be prepared, and part of that is having a first aid kit, and I always carry a first aid kit, especially with her, because she gets hurt a lot because she is a crazy little girl and she has so much fun, but I gotta be careful to always have some stuff. She's hurt her paws a couple times and stuff like that. Luckily, nothing super serious where I would need to put a muzzle on her. It's generally a good scrape or two, and I can generally wash it up and just watch it, make sure it doesn't get infected. But if she did have a major incident, I probably would muzzle her sorry, I'm lost my train of thought. To basically, one way is to keep sorry, getting tongue-tied again. That's one way to keep your dog's bite record clean, and I'm not trying to say that in a way to beat the system or something like that, but obviously we don't want a service dog to have a bite record. That's not something we want. Most people, especially in the professional industry, I'm sure would brush it off as, you know, that is something that happened to that the dog did because it was under extreme distress, if there was a nip or something like that. But just to make everyone feel safer and keep your dog safe, because it can, like I said with the grooming, if your dog's muzzle trained and your dog actually calms down with the muzzle on, because you've trained that kind of calmness in with the muzzle. So the muzzle means to be calm. So it could even help calm your dog down, so that the vets and professionals can work on your dog if they, God forbid, had a serious injury that would require it. Yeah, so those are like your 2 or like 3 biggest things with dog training for muzzles. Sorry, that was horrible. Like I said, these are largely unedited. I actually did really good in the beginning. But yeah, so those are my 3 like points, and why I think all dogs, even service dogs, should be muzzle trained. It can happen at the groomer even if you don't always take your dog to the groomer. Maybe that one time you take your dog to the groomer, you don't want it to be a bad experience just because they put a muzzle on your dog and it just made it worse. Could even make your dog's gear shine, now that I think about it, if that circumstance happened. But yeah, so groomer, vet under extreme circumstances, and yeah, just general gear desensitization. I think it's a really good thing, and a good thing I think all dog owners should have, service dogs included. And I am finally going to be getting a muzzle and having one for Elsa. She's knocking at the door because I closed the door and locked her out. Alright, so that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Again, discussions down below. If you have any more requests for videos or anything like that, feel free to put those down there as well. I love looking at all the requests of what you guys want to see. I want to make this channel for you guys, so I want to know what you guys want to see. And yeah, just hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Bye!